Dear students, Salam Alaikum. This video is on the fifth topic, derivatives by definition. There are two ways to find the derivatives. One is by definition and the other is by formula. Today we shall do derivative by definition, and after one or two classes we will be doing derivatives only by formula. See, this derivative by definition is to understand the definition and to know that the formula comes from the the formula of the derivative comes from the basic definition of the derivative. And there are two websites here. This is my channel, and the second is a derivative calculator. Please visit this website. Rest of the semester will be doing questions which you can see on this website. So get familiar with this website. Now what's this? This formula is the formula of the average rate of change. We have seen average rate of change. X2 is B, X1 is A, and average rate of change is f of B minus f of A divided by B minus A. We'll not use A and B here. X1 is like A, X2 is like B. Now we are going to write the definition like this. It looks better in this. Now in this definition, in the last worksheet, A and B were far apart, 2 and 3, 2 and 4. Now today we'll take x1 and x2 very close to each other. So what we'll do is we'll call x1 by x and x2 by x plus h. And then we'll take the limit h going to 0. So when h is 0, close to 0, x2 is almost like x and x1 is equal to x by definition, by choice. So once we take the 2 points close to each other and take the limit, then it will not be average rate of change, it will be the definition of the derivative. The derivative of the function f of x is written as f prime. This comma is called prime, Prime. Or you can write df by dx or df by dx. You can write the f above the line or on the side of the line. It is not a fraction. It does not matter which way you write. I'll be writing it like this in this handout. What you do is you take f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. So if you don't look at the limit, it is like average rate of change where the 2 points are very close to each other. The length of the interval is x2 minus x1 and x2 minus x1 equal to h. When you take the limit, it becomes derivative. If you don't take the limit, it is average rate of change for 2 points in the interval to be close to each other. Now what are the formulae we'll need? We'll need all the know-how of the limits which we have learned in the last few days. This formula number 1 is the two-term factorization. We have seen it before. Then we'll need sin C minus sin D, because look here we are subtracting. So it is sin C minus sin D, it is equal to this. Cos C minus cos D, this is the formula, tan C minus tan D, and secant square A minus tan square A equal to 1. This fourth and fifth formula are for the last question. We'll do one example for the second formula using the second formula and one example using the third formula. The first formula is from the previous worksheets. We'll be needing it. We have used it in the old limits. Now we'll slowly, gradually start with simple questions. Use the limit definition to find the derivative of the function f of x equal to c. Now c is any constant number. It's called a constant function. C can be negative, positive or 0. We have seen the function is plotted on the y-axis and x is plotted on the x-axis, which is the horizontal axis. And f of x equal to c is a horizontal line, which we have seen in the previous chapters on asymptotes. Now f of x equal to c, f of x plus h equal to c, because there is no x here. So whatever value you put here, you'll get back the value c. When you subtract this, you'll get c minus c equal to 0. Now the derivative of this f of x equal to subtract and divide. When you subtract, you get 0. 0 divided by anything is 0, and limit of a number h going to 0 is that number, and that number is 0 in this case. So the limit is 0. The derivative of a constant function is 0. See, the derivative has to do with the slope geometrically. Your straight line has a fixed slope, and this is a horizontal line. It's not going up, it is not going down. So this function, the derivative will be 0. Derivative has to do something with the slope. Now let's look at the second example. Use the limit definition to find the derivative of the function f of x equal to x. Now f of x equal to x, f of x plus h is x plus h. Wherever x is there, put x plus h. Now f of x plus h minus f of x is x plus h minus x, which is equal to h. Now h divided by h is 1. The limit 1 of 1 h going to 0 is 1. Thus we are again using the same definition, f of x plus h minus f of x. We have calculated this difference here. If you want, you can put all these things here, but you have to write limit in every step. So we'll do the algebra outside and just take the limit in 1 or 2 lines. So the derivative of a constant function is 0, derivative of x is 1. Remember this, we'll be needing it in the next chapter. Use the limit definition to find the derivative of the function f of x equal to x square. F of x equal to x square, f of x plus h is x plus h whole square, which is equal to x square plus 2hx plus h square, open the bracket. Now subtract, you will get 2hx plus h square. You can take h common, you will get h into 2x plus h. Take the difference, divide by h. When you divide by h, this h will cancel, because why will it cancel? Because h is not equal to 0, it is close to 0 from the left and from the right. You will be left with 2x plus h, limit h going to 0, 2x plus 0, you will get 2x. So derivative of x square is 2x. Now use the limit definition to find the derivative of f of x equal to x square minus 5x plus 6. Copy the function, shift it by x plus h, you will get x plus h whole square minus 5 into x plus h plus 6. Minus the function, look, I put it in bracket, subtract it, you will get h into 2x plus h minus 5h. If you don't want to factorize this, there is no need to factorize, you can leave it as it is. It is 2x plus h minus 5. When you divide by h, you will be left with this. Now take the limit, put h equal to 0, you will get 2x plus 0 minus 5, it is 2x minus 5. So this is how we do it in this chapter today. In the next chapter, we'll be using a shortcut, we'll be using a formula, but you have to remember many formulae for that. Next question. Use the limit definition to find the derivative of the function f of x equal to root x. F of x equal to root x, f of x plus h is under root x plus h. Now this is the derivative. Now what happens? When you take the limit, you have the limit is of the type 0 by 0. Now remember your limits. What we have to do? Multiply by the conjugate. Use the conjugate. Multiply by plus and plus. Here it is minus, so the conjugate will be plus. So you divide up and you divide down. Sorry, multiply up and multiply down. After all your multiplication and simplification, you will get 1 divided by under root x plus h plus root x. Now take the limit. See, we are not changing the value. We are writing this quantity as this. We have seen this in the last chapter. Take the limit, you put h equal to 0, you'll get 1 divided by root x plus root x, which is equal to 1 divided by 2 root x. We'll do some more questions like this. Now the sixth question. Use the limit definition to find the limit of the function, sorry, derivative of the function f of x equal to under root x plus 5, f of x equal to root x plus 5, f of x plus h is x plus 5 plus h. Now again, when you take the limit, here you again have a 0 by 0 problem. So what you do? You multiply with the conjugate. Here it is minus, so you choose plus here and plus here. And you will get this expression just like the exercises which we did in the limit questions. Now take the limit, you will get 1 by root x plus 5 plus root x plus 5, you will get 1 divided by 2 under root x plus 5. 2 is outside. This is just like the limit questions we have done before. We have done 4 questions of this type in the limit, so please concentrate on this. Now the next question is derivative of the function f of x equal to 1 over x minus 6. Now again you copy the function, then compute f of x plus h, then do the subtraction f of x plus h minus f of x. You do it like this, you get this. Now there is no 0 by 0 problem. Divide by h, the h will get cancelled and this minus 1, we write it here and not here. Now take the limit, the h goes away because h is, we are going to substitute 0 and you'll get this bracket x minus 6 2 times. If a thing repeats, you put it as power 2 if it repeats 2 times. If it repeats 3 times, we put power 3. Now this power 2 can be taken up and written as minus 2. And this minus is outside, so it has to be followed up from one step to the other. See, there are different types of questions we have done. There are 7 types of questions we have done till now. Now comes the question on sin x. F of x equal to sin 4x. F of x plus h is sin 4 into x plus h. Now we'll open this bracket after some time. Now use the identity on page 1. Sin c minus sin d is 2 cos c plus d by 2 into sin c minus d by 2. Now what is c? C is 4 into x plus h and d is 4x. So c plus d by 2 is this quantity, 4 into x plus h plus 4x by 2. Open the brackets, you'll get 4x plus 2h. C minus d is 2h. 4 into x plus h minus 4x. Open the bracket, you will get 4x plus 4h minus 4x by 2. This plus 4x will cancel with minus 4x. We will be left with 4h by 2. 4h by 2 is 2h. Instead of 4, if you have an odd number, you will get, if it is 5, you will get 5 by 2h. If it is 3, you will get 3 by 2h. Remember your trigonometric limit. Limit h going to 0, sine 2h by h is 2. This small 2 is like capital A. Now subtract, you get 2 into cos 4x plus 2h, which we have here, and we have sine 2h here. And now you take the limit. Now you have to take the limit of this. It is 0 by 0, but we don't have to worry. Take this separately, and this formula we know for the sine limit. So this 2 will come out, cos will be separate, sine 2h by h. You can do cos by h, but it will lead to a problem of 1 by 0, and we are not going to do it. We know how to take the limit of sine 2h by h. We have done it before, so take the h with the sine, not with the cosine. Now this limit is 2, this 2 is outside, put h equal to 0, you will get cos 4x. 2 into 2 is 4, you'll get 4 cos 4x. Next chapter we'll learn the formula. If you start with sine 5x, you'll get 5 cos 5x. So much for the sine. The cosine is similar, but the steps are little different. The algebra steps are the same, but the numbers will change. Now use the definition for and find the derivative of f of x equal to cos 6x. Take f of x, take f of x plus h. Don't open this bracket right now. Now we know cos c minus cos d is minus 2 c plus d by 2 sine c minus d by 2. Look, here we have 2 cos c plus d by 2 sine c minus d by 2. We have to calculate c plus d by 2 and c minus d by 2. Same thing is happening here. You calculate c plus d by 2 and c minus d by 2. C plus d by 2 is 6x plus 3h. C minus d by 2 is 3h. Just take the limit. Again, you'll be using this limit here. Sine 3h over h. Limit h going to 0 is 3. Do all your algebra. Then separate the cos and the sine. Keep h with the sine and cosine separately. Sorry, this is sine. This step is sine, not cosine. Copy it from here and take this limit sine 3h over h, which is 3. This minus 2 is outside, and this is sine 6x. So the you'll get the final answer as minus 6 sine 6x. So if you differentiate cosine, you get a minus sine. And if you differentiate sine, you get a cosine. And some numbers with it. We'll discuss that in the when we discuss the formula in the next chapter. So the derivative of sine 4x is 4 cos 4x. Derivative of cos 6x will be minus 6 sine 6x. And the derivative, it comes from the basic definition which you have seen. Now use the definition to find the derivative of f of x equal to tan 8x. Again, copy the function, calculate f of x plus h, and this is. Now use the identity tan c minus tan d is tan of c minus d into 1 plus tan c plus d, tan c tan d. Look at these three formulae. For sine, the formula looks like this. For cos, the formula looks like this. For tan, the formula looks entirely different. Here some similarity is there, but there is no similarity. Now again calculate c plus d by 2 and c minus d by 2. You will get 4h here, 8x plus 4h for this. Now remember your limit. Limit tan 8h by h is 8. And we'll be needing this identity in the second last step. Calculate f of x plus h minus f of x. You'll get tan 8h into 1 plus tan 8 into x plus h into tan 8x. Now divide with h. Take tan 8h over h because we know the limit from here. You take it out in one limit. In the other limit, you take rest of the function. You'll get 8 here. 1 plus tan 8x into tan 8x. You'll get 1 plus tan square 8x. The derivative part is over here, but we know that secant square is 1 plus tan square. So when you do 1 plus tan square, you will get secant square. So this will become 8 secant square 8x. So the derivative of sine, cosine and tangent we have done. All other functions we are going to do using the basic formulae and not the definition. But for this type of questions, you should know how to do it from the basic definition. Thank you. We'll discuss these things more in the class and in the next videos, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.